Hello, hello. Today is December 7th, and I'm going to talk about some things around Kessler syndrome, which is a collisional cascading um, of satellites in space. So what I do is that I look into symbology in the world stage. And what I mean is, I look at the news, I look at things that are meaningful to the human psyche, you could say, meaningful to people. And by looking into this, I can see a pattern. And to me, looking at these things, it looks bad right now. So I'm going to do like I made some videos already, and yeah, so I'll just say the latest things that I found. So when it comes to one of the most um, emotional moments of 2025, it was the Charlie Kirk assassination, and it really took the whole world with a shock, right? And when it comes to these kind of events that are um, just shocking, they get filled with symbolism. And many of you listening here know about that there, you can look into it, and you can just see things in these events, things that point to what was and what's going to be and what happened, right? And so what I'm doing right now is that I'm looking at the place of, I've done many videos already about this subject, so you should go back if you haven't seen them. So um, I'm looking at the map here over Orem, Utah, where Charlie Kirk was assassinated. It is circled in red there at the bottom. The closest mountain to that point is Cascade Mountain. But that's the Kessler syndrome. The Kessler syndrome is cascading collisions. Also, it wasn't long ago, like, let me remind you that it wasn't long ago, Trump said that he wanted to try nuclear detonations. This is also a cascade in reaction. It's like nearby each other in symbolic meaning, a cascade, a chain reaction. But instead of these things being expressed at one place, maybe they go somewhere else. So in this case, it's like, no, it's moving to space. So we see both Cascade Mountain, we see further up a bit Kessler Peak. What's the chance? What's the chance that you see that? And right below Kessler Peak, you see Twin Peaks. And that makes me think about Kessler twins that just committed, how do you say, assisted suicide, okay, in November. So yeah, that was one of my moments where I started thinking, like, what about Kessler, when I saw that, the Kessler twins. And also the Kessler twins, they are two, meaning that they are like a cascade in themselves. They are two, they are a domino effect in themselves. Let's add some more things to this map, because in Utah is also Kessler, the NBA player that was just injured. He's playing for Utah Jazz, and he was injured um, uh, very much. So season 25, 26 seems to be cancelled when I look at that. But also, you see, you really, like, when I see this, I'm really getting to realize why Charlie Kirk has his full name Charles James Kirk. I'm really starting to see that it connects to James Kirk of Star Trek. Like, this space theme is uh, is having some kind of inner consistency, some kind of coherency, you know, within here, and so it just becomes very, um, very homogeneous, you know, all of this. It's the same. It's a theme. Finally, like, you should also feel like, if you're a decoder, you should also feel that, oh, finally you're getting to know why his name was James Kirk. Like, you're finally getting to know that. This is why. Because it's Kessler all over here. You see Cascade Mountain, Kessler Peak, Walker Kessler. Yeah. Let me just go to what I said yesterday and just add something more. So we have Michael Jordan in a lawsuit right now. Like, Michael Jordan right now, at the top right, you see this article. Michael Jordan claims he had no choice but to sue NASCAR. Okay, so Michael Jordan is suing NASCAR. The top attorney is Jeffrey Kessler. It's yet another Kessler, you see here to the left. You can see that it's another Kessler. And Kessler is attacking NASCAR, but NASCAR is making the lunar rover for NASA. So again, you have Kessler doing something against NASA or space, or you see the connection. At the same time, Michael Jordan played in Space Jam. You know, Michael Jordan is suing NASCAR, but Michael Jordan was also in Space Jam, which is a jam in space, like a traffic jam in space. And a traffic jam of satellites leads to Kessler syndrome. This is the very definition of it. It is a collisional cascading. So when there is a jam, when there is a space jam, a jam in space, there is a collisional cascading and there is a Kessler syndrome. Okay. You also see that, oh, let's talk about NBA, right? So both of these things are going on at the same time. You both have Kessler in NBA being injured, and at the same time you have Michael Jordan, the former NBA, former NBA player, suing NASCAR, hiring Kessler. And Michael Jordan is also connecting to space because he has this Space Jam movie. Walker Kessler in Utah. His name is Skywalker. His name is Skywalker. Do you see? It's all just perfect. And you have already 2 incidents in 2025. As I saw, like, maybe you can find more yourself. I just looked at what has to do with Kessler effect, collisional cascading, and that is, you know, in March of 2025, you had SpaceX capsule saving ISS astronauts, because the spacecraft that they arrived on had technical issues, right? Technical issues. The same problem with that's interesting because the Chinese astronauts in November, they had the same problem with the return craft. The return craft hit with space debris, and so they had to send another one. You see, it's the same kind of problem, the same problem. You see what I mean? So yeah, there are actual facts here also happening in the background. Two serious events where astronauts needs to be saved in space, like they are stranded in space because of broken spacecrafts. Also, let me just remind you of some other things. You know, these are some big things that happened. You had a National Guard shooting in Farragut, where Farragut is a Star Trek spaceship at the same time. The shooting in National Guard, the National Guard shooting near the White House, it happened at Farragut Square, right? Farragut is a spacecraft in Star Trek because it just has to be like it's just so perfect. That's why. And also, like as I said, Kessler twins. They are two Kessler twins who sang with Frank Sinatra. And Frank Sinatra, he made Take Me to the Moon, right? Take Me to the Moon, which is yet another theme of that, of space. Kessler, yeah, okay. Just want to say also that you have a Kessler in Operation Warp Speed. Just have a separate slide for that. That it was the head of Operation Warp Speed. You can also, like, if you want, you can search for what's his name. The actor of what's his name? William Shatner. What's his name? Sorry. William Shatner. Okay, if you want, you can search for him, and you search for Kessler and William Shatner, and you will find an interview where William Shatner, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, he was interviewed by someone named David Kessler in a very serious interview. And what's interesting about that is that that's the same name as the head of Operation Warp Speed. It's another David Kessler, but it's still David Kessler. It's just something that I noticed. So yeah, it's looking bad, all of this. I mean, bad and bad. It's kind of beautiful, all of this, but what I'm saying, like, it's like solving a puzzle, right? And finally we're all getting to realize why his name is Charles James Kirk. Finally, we can see the connection, clear as day. I mean, that's assuming that you're interested in this kind of stuff. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, well then, now suddenly you know why he has this connection to space and to James Kirk, the captain of Star Trek, USS Enterprise. So yeah, and it all leads to, like, what I'm saying is that you can see what it means by looking at the map here. You know, the map is showing Cascade Mountain and Kessler Peak. You see? And that's it. That's it. And as I say, I believe that when this I read a bit about it, or I researched about a bit more, and it seems to be something that it can happen very suddenly. All of this, it can happen within 48 hours. This whole, like, within 48 hours, it seems like as some kind of experts are reasoning, in 48 hours, all satellites can go down, and they are forever down. And when all satellites are forever down, you know, they're like no more satellites, basically. Satellites. Well, you're going to have problems with the weather reports and satellites. Well, forget about that. I mean, there's other ways, right? Like air pressure and things like that, right? You have measuring points in each city, you have places of measurements. But satellites, no more. And what about? I also, I mean, if you're paying attention to the news, you're going to realize that there's a lot of talk about maps. Map this, map that, a map of, what was it? Let me check the news, okay? It's just almost all the time, the maps. And the reason why the map is popping up is because, as I see it, there's going to be problems with making maps. Because there's, I mean, assuming that this unfolds, the Kessler thing, the Kessler problem unfolds, well, you have to go back in technology. Like, you have to downgrade your, all you know, the technology have to go backwards and use older technology to make maps, okay? And so I believe that this is why the maps are popping up in the news. Like, okay, if you look at the news, you see the I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. I mean, there's so many map things that I have found, at least. Um, Let me check. You know what? You just have to trust me. If you haven't seen it, then there's no problem. Gerrymandered maps. The way that maps are separated into parts when it comes to politics and elections, right? The election maps. These things, the focus around the maps, I think it's all some kind of problem from the future. You know, I have to be honest with you. I think it's just something that is popping up right now in the news because it's going to be a problem. I mean, okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell you something more. In my opinion, oh, I'm going to say, in my opinion, I'm not even going to argue. Okay, I'm not even going to argue why I think like this. So, in my opinion, the mind of like the collective mind, it kind of is how do I explain it? It's like it knows the future a bit, okay? The collective mind knows what's going to be, okay? And I'm not talking about it's I know a bit about what's going to be, a bit of it, okay? I show evidence of that, at least. I'm trying to show evidence of that. But also, the collective mind of everyone knows the future. Okay, I'm telling you, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to see all of this. It's like the mind is thinking about, the collective mind is thinking about the future, and the world stage evolves because of that, as a way that it's interacting with itself, processing whatever, Um, so yeah. Um, okay. So yeah, I think I'll end this video. I guess I'll do a quick summary again. Okay, so um, I believe it's going to be a problem with maps, because of, if something like this happens, if um, Kessler syndrome occurs, and it's never again satellites. I mean, it's going to be just suddenly, no warning, it's over. Um, that's the thing when it comes to these things. There is never any lesson. There's never any feedback. That, oh, it's getting closer. It's getting closer. No, it's just suddenly, boom, it's over. That's how it works with this. Um, yeah. And problem with weather reports, problem with rural communication of internet and, I guess, telephones, maybe, I don't know, rural areas, right? And probably a lot more problems. Chaos, because people are going to believe that it's aliens right now. Also note that it's called, let me make this smaller. It's called 3i Atlas. And as I said, this thing that is talked about the most, it's called like that. And as I say, it's like something that it's just some kind of mind fetish, some kind of mind fetish. People are doing this, they are finding things, but is it is it is it correct what's being found? Is it valid? Like, who knows? Like, it doesn't seem doesn't seem doesn't seem very serious to me. This, it's like a distraction, for and I don't mean to offend anyone here, but like, it's a distraction, if for those that want to get afraid very quickly, if you want to be fear quickly using imagination, like least possible amount, I don't know, then least possible amount of logic and so on, well, that's it, but I do believe that Atlas has a connection to maps and map problems. Again, this thing with things going back in time, like information going back in time. And yeah. So the map problems because of Kessler. Everything because of Kessler. Everything is Kessler's fault. Blame him. No. Yeah. Everything is Kessler's fault. Yeah. Okay. So the Atlas keyword is not a waste. It's like something that is going to be a consequence of Kessler. And so it kind of pulls in everything. Like this Kessler thing, it pulls in all sorts of things into it. And that's why it's so big, it's so much, it's so rich in patterns. It's so rich, as I said. And it's answering so many questions like why Charles James Kirk. It's answering these questions. Yeah. And as I said, let me just repeat quickly at the end. There is already signs of problems here with the repeated types of problems in 2025 with astronauts unable to leave ISS, International Space Station. Because of this, basically it seems like the same problem. The return crafts are damaged because of space debris. Where the space debris is, the Kessler syndrome. And all of the sudden, maybe all astronaut, like no one wants to go there anymore. And what happens then? Well, in actuality, somewhere down the line, all of this, the only reason why things are the way they are is because I think it's because people, like if everyone believed that everyone can fly basically, then the rules of gravity will simply let go, something like that. What I mean is that yes, I'm talking about logical things here, but I do that because that's what we like to do. Like people like logic and so on, so that's why the world is logical. I think so. Why not? This is logical, and so it makes sense, and so yeah, that's yeah. But suddenly, if there is a lack in trust in space by astronauts themselves, well, then maybe Kessler will become even more intense. Kessler will be like, oh, I'm going to show them that I'm scary, and suddenly the satellites will be even more attacked. If even if maybe they have some imagination. Oh, whatever, guys, whatever. Um, yeah, whatever. Okay, so that's it. That's it. So, I mean, this is highly weird, Let me end with that, yeah, closest mountain, Cascade Mountain, connecting to Kessler Peak, okay? And that's tying in all the symbolism of Charlie Kirk and the feelings of that during 2025. Okay, bye.